There's an analogy that's used to articulate what happens when we try to take a path unique to our own self and break away from the herd a little bit, usually on a path to something greater than we currently have. And that is that crabs in a bucket, like if one of them starts to climb out of the bucket, the other crabs will grab it and pull it down. Now, I have not done a lick of research to learn if this is actually accurate, but I think it's very useful to keep in mind, because you do start to realize that as soon as you start to implement any kind of change in your life. To some degree, it is that people want you to follow your best path, and sometimes when you make a dramatic life pivot, they're like, hey, your regular life was working beforehand, why don't you just stay here? You don't know what lies out there. Unknown stuff is scary, so just stay in the safe place that you already are when you know how things are going to happen. But a way that we often lie to ourselves, we will not admit that watching somebody start to rise above us makes us uncomfortable. And so whether we realize it or not, a lot of the time we say things to try to keep them in this spot right here because it can validate us staying right here and not going anywhere. And bitter realization that I sort of made today. I've kind of known this in some ways for a while, but I really came face to face with it today, is that often I am the lower crab in the bucket who wants people to come back down to where I am. That's really, really hard to be faced with a mirror like that. Now, granted, I don't tell people stop pursuing your dreams. If people start picking up something, it's usually more of an internal thing than like me outwardly voicing it to them. But there is sort of a desire in me for the people around me not to reach a certain level of success. Which is not something that I want to be the case. One of my affirmations is actually, I love to see people succeed. That I sort of created for that exact reason. Or I sort of put it in my rotation of affirmations. Because I don't want to be that person who tries to justify his own mediocrity by, well, my peers are just as mediocre as me. And what happened today was that my mom shared with me the Instagram profile or account of a girl that I used to be in a performing arts troupe with, who's now found a mild to moderate level of fame on Instagram and probably like TikTok and stuff, over like, you know, those shorts, reels. She's doing well for herself, and her videos are pretty high quality too. It's really, really cool to see. And of course, that's not what I said to myself right off the bat. It was, darn it, I either need to excel myself to have as much fame and popularity as she has, but that's hard. So the other alternative is, or I should wish her the worst. I should wish that she loses it all. You know, doesn't advance anymore. Has some kind of crisis where she just walks away from it all. It's lame that that voice is in me, but I have to acknowledge that it is in me. I've felt for the past 4 or 5 years a little bit, I've sort of made myself the victim and just pointing out how all these people around me don't support me, which is not even true most of the time, but that is how it can feel. You do have some very real experiences where people are trying to bring you down from your higher path that you're following. But it's so much harder to see all the ways in which you are wishing for other people to stay stagnant. And that's something that I'm really going to have to work through. I really do love to see people succeed. I love watching people win championships in the sporting events. I love watching actors go up to give their Oscar acceptance speech. I love watching a YouTuber that I've been following for a while suddenly have a big viral video and jump up like a couple 100,000 subscribers. I really do love that it just becomes harder to really appreciate the process of a big leap, a big advancement, when it's somebody that I know for some reason. And I'm going to have to keep picking apart why. Because I can't really will any sort of positive change within myself if I can't will it in the people around me, especially ones that I care about.